Marilisa Lawless.
And what do you do?
Sometimes it's hard to say what I don't do, or easier to say what I don't do. I am a marriage and family therapist who specializes in treating trauma.
Okay.
I have been doing this well over 30 years, so over the course of those years, I've also educated myself. I'm a master's level. Besides being a licensed marriage and family therapist, I'm also a master's level certified addictions professional. Then also I am a hypnotherapist, a clinical hypnotherapist. I am a Reiki master, which is a form of Japanese energy healing.
Okay.
And I am an herbalist because I believe in using some natural things.
That is so cool. Everyone listening, now you know what degrees you need to go get and certifications because she's a girl boss. So I know you just mentioned that you are a mental health counselor. So you specialize in trauma therapy. I think something me and my viewers want to know is, what would you tell someone who's struggling with the current state of our world?
Take a breath. At the end of the day, just take a deep breath.
Yes.
You know, one of the things that I didn't even mention, one of the things that I do for myself is I do silent retreats.
Okay.
I go to and attend silent retreat, week long in the woods with a mentor and a group of people, but it's silent. And that place of mindfulness and silence is truly healing. It helps with anxiety. It helps with sleep. It helps with so many different pieces as a base.
That's
so
amazing.
When somebody is feeling really ramped up, stop and take 3 deep breaths.
That is absolutely amazing. And I feel like it's healing because it's so quiet. You can kind of tune out the noise of the world.
Well, I don't know that it's about tuning out the noise of the world. It's just about noticing it and not grabbing a hold of it.
You can kind of be more zen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's amazing. So what coping mechanisms would you share? If you could give a few for anyone listening, struggling with maybe coping with anxiety, depression, PTSD, what are your go-to coping mechanisms?
Well, the post-traumatic stress is like an overlying. It's an umbrella for a lot of different things because anxiety is a part of it, depression can be a part of it, physical pain can be a part of it. There's so many different components to post-traumatic stress.
Yes.
And at this point, most people are suffering on some level from post-trauma, whether it's from what's happened in the past few years or from earlier in their own lives. It could be as a result of anything. So with post-traumatic stress, at its core, the basics of eat right and exercise, that really does do a lot for, across the board for a lot of different things.
Absolutely.
And people don't always, it really is that simple, even though it's that challenging. Because our food quality is not great. So really trying to find the foods that work best for you and your body, and everybody's different.
I couldn't agree
more. Some people are really strong about you have to do it this way or do it this way. You know what? Figure out what works best for you.
It's individualized.
And it's really pay attention to your body. Pay
Absolutely.
attention to what's going on.
I couldn't have said it better myself. What do you gravitate towards nutrition-wise?
Probably for me, I try to do organic. I try to just eat the fruit that I grow in my backyard.
That's amazing.
Seldom that I buy anything. I follow basically a plant-based diet, but I will also do fish on occasion. So I do pescatarian, I guess would be the label that I attach to myself. And I gave up meat not for any health reasons. I gave up meat because I was raising these animals and I realized they had like these personalities and I just couldn't.
Yeah.
So you do you, but
Absolutely.
For me, that's where I am. And everybody's different.
Everybody is different. Have you noticed that it's helped with your own mental health and, maybe the challenges that you face, or would you recommend that kind of diet to anyone struggling with their own mental health issues?
Again, I think that people have to learn to listen to their own bodies.
Absolutely.
I know that there are some basics that we know are really, that we've been told over and over. Too much red meat is just not good for the body. Pork, the other white meat, sometimes is also not good for that. It's just not good for the body.
Yep.
You have to be able to listen to what your body needs.
Absolutely.
And really that comes down to paying attention. And that's what we don't do. We don't pay attention. Often, by the time we are paying attention, it is at a crisis. And we end up at a doctor, and the doctor gives you a pharmaceutical.
Yeah.
Then the pharmaceuticals have side effects. Then they're giving you another pharmaceutical to take care of the side effects from that pharmaceutical, and the list goes on and on.
It's a whole process.
Yeah. So my wish for each individual is that they start paying attention. Again, the simplest of tasks is take 3 deep breaths and just check in with yourself and say, literally talk to yourself and say, what do I need to do for me today?
Absolutely. I love that. And I feel like when you notice how things make you feel, you kind of are able to go through your day better and kind of cognitively think about that throughout your entire day, which is amazing.
Absolutely. You know, it is. It's very challenging, but once we get used to it, it's a lot easier. It's like meditation.
Yeah.
You know, I tell people meditation is super, super simple. Oh, I can't meditate. And in reality, everyone can. People have been mistaught on what meditation is. They think that their mind's going to be a blank slate. No, your mind is going to go like in 5 seconds, like, oh, I forgot to do that. Oh, I need to do that. Oh, what am I having for lunch? You know, and the whole goal is to just come back to your breath.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything truly just connects back to the breath. Whether it's anxiety, depression, depression, get outside in the sun. Put your shoulders back and your face up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Face up in the sun.
Get some sunlight and some, good energy, and you'll feel so much better, I'm sure. So, what I want to talk about is, I know there are 5 stages of grief and healing, and I'm pretty sure they are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Do you want to touch on those?
That's a mouthful.
Absolutely.
So Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, when she wrote that book, she's actually talked about it. It wasn't meant as 5 stages of death. Right. She actually meant it as something else, but most people understand those stages as something, and they're not linear.
Yeah.
You know, it could be one day I feel like I'm pretty okay with the losses I've had in my life, because death and dying isn't necessarily about a person.
Absolutely.
It could be a relationship. It could be
something coming to an end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And that the denial is, I really just, life is just better if I just think about it this way, and deny that it's even an issue.
Right.
The bargaining, the if-onlys.
Right.
It is just, it can be very complicated. It's not really that complicated. Again, taking care of yourself. Yep. Focusing on what it is you need as an individual.
Yep.
And learning to ask for help.
Absolutely.
When you can learn to ask, to say, I feel really sad and I could use a hug.
Yep. I
feel really angry. I think I'm going to go for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Taking a walk around the lake is an expression for dealing with anger.
Absolutely.
They're all human emotions. They're all natural. They're all normal. We all do it.
Right. People aren't punching bags. We can't treat them like that. And no matter what we're dealing with inside, we can't take that out on others. So I love that you mentioned that. And I feel like taking a walk would be so much better than, screaming at someone or taking it out on someone else. Because that affects everybody.
Absolutely. When you see road rage.
Right.
When you see somebody cut you off.
Especially in Florida.
Angry,
Miami,
Instead of getting angry, to just say, oh, okay, you're in a hurry. Go ahead.
Right. Maybe we need to think maybe they're having a bad day, or maybe something's going on in their life. Because I feel like everyone is dealing with something that we don't know behind closed doors, whether they share it or not, or they look like they're dealing with something or not. There's so many things, from invisible illnesses to invisible mental illnesses. I think smiling depression is real. I think you could know the happiest person and they could be really sad and really going through it. And I think that's something that I want to talk about in a little bit. But something that you said that I want to touch on is, how do you ask for help? What would you tell somebody who maybe they're not shy, maybe they're shy, or maybe they're not someone that wants to feel comfortable to talk to their parents or talk to anybody and be like, I'm struggling, I need help? What would you say to that person or those people in the world?
If people are not comfortable asking for help, know what hotline numbers are. Like 988. It's a national hotline for suicide.
Yeah.
Help, when you're thinking about it, when you're feeling it. Broward County actually has 211, which is the same as 988. And there's all kinds of recorded things. There's actually live people. There's live counselors there. People are often willing to ask strangers for help before they ask their family.
That's so sad.
It is. And every family culture is different, so it's about what is most comfortable for you.
Absolutely.
The suffering in silence has never been beneficial for anyone.
Yeah.
And yet people do it. So being able to reach out in an anonymous way to one of these hotlines
Yeah.
is an option.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and again, it's something that's available 24/7, because that's another piece. They don't want to disturb anybody. It's the middle of the night and they're woke up, they've woken and they've had these, they're having a nightmare, they need somebody to talk to. These numbers, there's somebody there 24/7.
That's amazing.
And it's a live person.
It's kind of like a first responder in a way for your mental health.
Absolutely.
I feel like we often think about, like medical professionals always being there, but we need the same with mental health professionals, because mental illness is real.